We got a good little dollar pop in here in the morning for us in DraftKings. We immediately sold it off and then just kind of faded flat into close. We ended the day today 26.48, about 2 cents away from the midway point between that 26 and that $27 level. Now, 27 wasn't really much of a support or resistance for us in here today. So going forward, we're just kind of wipe that off the table, especially on a larger time frame like this weekly chart that we have right here. So we're going to be more focused on the 28s and the 29s. But really, what we actually care about, so we have to kind of keep those in the back of our mind, right? We're worried about the 28, 29 going forward. Okay, got it. But what we really want to be focusing on is going to be these two moving averages right here, this 50-day SMA and this 200 SMA right here, right? So the light pink is going to be your 50, the dark pink is going to be that 200. Wherever these end up, that's going to be our first hard stopping point, right? So that's where we're going to stop, take a breather, kind of regain momentum, and then see if we can get a nice breach and a hold to continue moving forward, right? Whether that kind of meets us at the 28, whether it meets us at 29, whether we reach all the way to 30 and 31 before hitting those, that is going to be our main areas of concern. But again, we still have to kind of keep those psych levels just always be aware of them in the back of your mind. 28, 29, since 27 wasn't really nothing for us in here going forward, or today going forward, not really going to worry about it that much. So that's kind of what we're looking at in here to the upside. And that's going to be basically dependent on if we get any more news-based things kind of pushing this stock higher, right? So everybody's kind of been talking about DraftKings for the past few days in here just because of the news and what's going on and things like that. So without that, just holding the 26 is going to be a good look for us. If we can't hold the 26, then we got things to worry about. But if we can hold the 26 and we get some more news in here, especially to the upside and things like that, as we get or draw closer and closer to that football season, then I think we're going to be good to go in here. And then we can start kind of worrying about those $30 levels. So that is what we're looking at in here to the upside. To the downside in here, say the 26 does not hold, we gap down, and then we just kind of fall out right as we go into next week. Well, then there's really nothing to save us in here besides these supports that came in back in May, which is going to be right around that 23.75 area. Outside of there, if we don't get any consolidation, then there's really nothing to save us until we get all the way down here. These lows from back in March was going to be the lows of the year. It's going to be sitting at that 2046 area. So that is kind of what we're looking at in here as we're going forward. I don't think a whole lot is going to affect us as we're going into this weekend in here. There's not a whole lot of event risk premium kind of soaked into this stock. Any gap ups or things like that over the weekends just because of what Trump does, it's not necessarily going to affect DraftKings that much because we're not really correlated with the overall markets and things like that, right? So it's definitely going to hurt other stocks way before it trickles down to DraftKings. But still, you're going to get a little bit of positive or negative drift either way just because of what the overall markets are doing. Now, as far as implied volatility goes in DraftKings, it's a little bit elevated in here. Obviously, that probably has to do with all of the hype that's been around at DraftKings for the past couple of days in here. But you have about a $1.22 expected move priced in by next Friday. The following about $2. You go all the way out to August monthlies, right around a $4 expected move being priced in. You do have earnings coming up at the beginning of August. So that's going to be a time where we're kind of prepping for football season, right? That's kind of like where everybody is kind of starting to get in on all these gambling stocks and they want to bet, right? That's everybody's focused in America on football season. That's what everybody lives for, it seems like. So we're going to have earnings. We're also going to have football season coming up. So we're going to see what kind of action we're going to get in DraftKings as we start closing in here in the next few weeks on all of those. So that is going to be what we're focusing on in here going forward. Again, what are we looking at in here to the upside? Well, we're worried most about these moving averages. What's going to happen here? Crossovers, expansion, squeezes. Where are we going to meet them? That is what we're worried about the most. Second, we're going to be aware of those overall key psych levels, 28, 29 going forward. Third, any pullbacks that we get below 26, let it consolidate, see if we're going to get a pullback all the way down to those 23s, and then let it consolidate and then start getting momentum and worry about it from there. So that's kind of your three-step process that we're looking at in here. In the meantime, we're just going to watch volatility, see where this thing ends up, and then play from there. So that's what happened today in DraftKings. Let's see going forward how we're going to open up the new week next week and continue to kind of play it accordingly. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.